What's up, guys? Tony here for part 3 of my aero kit install. I think I forgot to mention part 2, which was the diffuser, but anyways, that was part 2. This is part 3, so check it out. Okay, so today I'll be installing my version 2 Aeroflow Dynamics front splitter. This is the hardware that's going to come with it. I can't thank Aeroflow enough for sponsoring the build. I wasn't able to purchase the splitter rods, but they're going to be kind enough to supply those to me at no charge, and I'll pick those up at a later date. But again, thank you Aeroflow for sponsoring my build. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for this build and future builds that I have in mind. Here's the hardware kit that comes with the splitter. It has pre-drilled holes. Sorry for all the dust and debris, but I got this huge ass tree. Not that way of a tree there, but that one behind it that just dumps all kinds of crap all onto my backyard. But anyways, so it's got pre-drilled holes in it for the hardware. It's gonna mount up to all those holes there, and I hope that none of them are torn, considering I've been off a few times on the track, but they look all intact. So let's go ahead and get installing it, shall we? You will need to remove the front bumper for this, so I'll give you a quick guide. I'm sure there's videos on YouTube on how to remove the front bumper, but I'm just going to give you a quickie on how. I don't have the wheel wells, so it's one less step for you, but check it out. So you'll have to for sure remove these. If you don't have that hardware, thank you 6-Speed actually for supplying the fancy hardware, but it's an Allen key, but it's a 10 mil. If you have the stock hardware, you need to remove all that stuff there to get to it, and then you will also need to remove the pop clips behind the wheel. You might be able to get to it if you turn the wheel in the opposite direction, so that way it gives you the most space to get those pop clips out. But because I don't have a wheel well, it makes it 10 times easier. But yeah, so remove all that stuff, and then you'll be able to get to the next step, which is these little side markers. I'm sure there are many videos on how to remove these side markers, but I'm just going to show you real quick. So I mean, they're just placed in with pressure. You just put your finger behind it, pop it out. Once you remove, you know, the pop clips there. But again, I don't have the fender well, so I don't have to worry about that. I just pop this guy out, unplug this connector here, and then there is a small pop clip right there, which mine's already fallen out. I can probably pull mine out. But anyways, small pop clip there. Other side, do the same thing. And once all that's done, you should be able to remove the front bumper easily. Once that's done, don't forget to disconnect your, if you have fog lights, disconnect them, but in my case I just have daytime running lights, so just connect those 2 cables there, or connectors I mean, and the bumper will be completely off. So once you take the bumper off, it helps if you get these little mats. I got them from Harbor Freight, just so I don't scratch up anything worse than it already is. But flip it upside down, have it lean up against the car itself, because the bumper is going to want to flip backwards or whatever. It's going to want to go face first, so it's going to scratch up the front end of it. So lean up against the car so I can put the splitter on. So now I'm going to install the hardware, get it on, and then reinstall the bumper. So in case you haven't noticed, I've never installed a front splitter before, so I assumed that the holes would mount up in unison with what holes were on the bumper. No, that's not the case. However, the rear end holes do line up. That way you can line the splitter up straight and true. You will, however, have to drill through your bumper to get these holes in, using the stock hardware. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, so holes are drilled. I used I did the center first, tightened it down, that way the rest of them would match up, but I first for sure did the ends, that way the splitter would line up. But I used a, what is it, a 15/64 drill bit, and that's the number right there. I got from Harbor Freight. But yeah, use that. Fits perfectly with the bolts or the hardware, so I'm gonna go ahead and bolt the rest of it in. So that's basically it. I mean, I used my little Harbor Freight impact with a 11mm wrench, the drill bit, which I believe was a 16/32, and then just, yeah, tied them all up. Started from the middle, worked my way out. Now it's time to reinstall. Now install all hardware and pop clips in reverse order. So start with those, put your bracket on, and then once you're done with that, you can go ahead and hook up the pop clips that go into the side markers there. There should be two of them, top and to the left. And then you can put your side markers in.